Right now, at this exact moment, you are dehydrated. Not because you forgot to drink water. You probably drank water today. Maybe you even carried a bottle with you. Maybe you hit 2 liters before noon. And still, right now, inside the 37 trillion cells running every system in your body, there is a drought. And here is the part that should stop you cold. The water you drank today contributed to that drought. The way we have been taught to hydrate, the rules we have followed since grade school, are not just incomplete, they are actively working against the biology they claim to serve. And the proof is not a theory. It is showing up in your body right now. The afternoon fog, the low-grade fatigue that coffee cannot fix, the skin that no longer snaps back, the recovery that takes longer than it used to. That is not aging. That is a broken wave. And today, we are going to fix it. I am Dr. Elias Site, and this is VitaWave. We operate from one foundational belief here. Health is not a destination. It's a rhythm you learn to ride. We don't just treat symptoms. We decode your biological waves to turn back the clock from the inside out. The biological wave we are decoding today is your hydration wave, the cellular mechanism that determines whether the water you consume actually reaches your mitochondria or simply passes through you without ever entering the cell. By the end of this video, you will have a precise science-grounded protocol, the cellular revival blueprint that you can begin implementing tomorrow morning. 5 sections, 1 complete system. Let us go. The hydration illusion. I want you to picture someone you probably know. She's 38, she's motivated, sharp, and takes her health seriously. She tracks her water intake on her phone. She drinks before coffee, during meetings, during her workout, with dinner. By 9 p.m., she has consumed 2.5 liters, textbook perfect by every mainstream standard. Her lab work tells a different story. Cellular dehydration, intracellular mineral deficit, impaired osmotic gradient. Her doctor's response? Drink more water. This is not an unusual case. This is the majority of health-conscious people operating in 2026. The reason is something I call the hydration illusion, the deeply embedded assumption that the volume of water you consume is proportional to the hydration your cells receive. It is not, and the gap between those two numbers is where chronic fatigue, cognitive fog, and accelerated cellular aging live. The 8 glasses a day framework was never built on cellular absorption science. It was a general population guideline from 1945, and it became gospel without ever being tested against the biology of intracellular hydration. What that model ignores entirely is where water actually needs to go, past the bloodstream, past the extracellular fluid, and through the cell membrane into the mitochondria itself. When that journey doesn't happen, the water you drink collects in the wrong compartments. You feel bloated and heavy, not energized. Your kidneys work overtime processing fluid that never reached its destination. And inside the cell, where your energy is actually manufactured, there's a drought that no amount of additional volume can fix. Here's what I need you to remember before we go further. If you're experiencing fatigue, brain fog, or poor recovery despite good water intake, the problem is almost certainly not volume, it's absorption, and that's a biology problem, not a discipline problem. That shift in understanding alone is worth more than anything a sports drink company will ever tell you, because what comes next changes how you see water permanently. The physics of the wave. Now we go inside the cell, because this is where the real science lives, and once you understand the mechanism, the solution becomes obvious. Every one of your cells is wrapped in a structure called a lipid bilayer, a double layer of fat molecules forming a highly selective membrane. This membrane doesn't simply allow water to pass through whenever it arrives. It has gatekeepers.
protein channels called aquaporins, a discovery that won Peter Agre the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2003, embedded directly in the cell membrane, whose entire function is to allow water from the outside of the cell to the inside. Here's what the science confirms and most health content never mentions. Aquaporins are not passive tunnels, they are responsive gates. They open in response to specific biological signals and, critically, in response to the energetic quality and molecular structure of the water moving toward them. Water is not uniform. Water moving through natural geology, spiraling through rock, exposed to sunlight, picking up mineral charge, carries a kinetic signature that aquaporins recognize and respond to. The gate opens, the water enters the cell. Water sitting in municipal infrastructure, processed through chlorination, fluoridation, and long-distance pipe travel, has had that kinetic signature largely degraded. It's not toxic in the conventional sense, but to your aquaporins, it's biologically invisible. The gate doesn't open, the water moves through your system without ever entering the cell. Think of it this way. Your cell membrane is a precision-engineered automated door with a motion sensor built for a specific signal. Structured, energetically alive water moves with enough coherence and momentum to trigger that sensor. Processed tap water shuffles up disorganized and slow. The sensor doesn't register. The door stays closed. This is why populations with direct access to natural spring water historically showed hydration and longevity markers that baffled researchers for decades. It wasn't mythology, it was aquaporin biology functioning the way it was designed to function. And in 2026, the gap between the water most of us consume and the water our cells can actually use has never been wider. What you now understand that most people don't, it's not just about what water you drink, it's about whether that water carries the biological charge to pass through the gate. That's the physics of the wave, and the next piece tells you exactly how to restore it. The mineral bridge. Even perfectly structured water can't complete the cellular journey alone. It needs a conductor. That conductor is ionic electrolytes, specifically the trace minerals that create the electrical charge differential across the cell membrane. This electrical gradient is what pulls the hydration wave inward. Without it, even the most energetically alive water stalls at the gate and goes nowhere. Most people hear electrolytes and immediately think of sports drinks, those brightly colored, sugar-heavy formulas that have dominated fitness culture for 2 decades. And while sodium and potassium are genuinely important, what functional medicine is now confirming is that the micromineral ecosystem matters far more than we ever gave it credit. Magnesium, silica, zinc, boron, trace lithium, chromium. These are not supporting players. In many cases, they are the entire electrical orchestra that makes cellular hydration possible.
The most significant nutritional shift happening in clinical practice right now is the movement away from bulk sodium loading toward precision micromineral supplementation. The mechanism is straightforward. High sodium without balancing trace minerals creates extracellular bloat, fluid accumulation outside the cell, while the intracellular environment stays completely dry. You feel puffy and heavy instead of energized. That is 2 states of dehydration existing simultaneously inside the same body. You have felt this, that waterlogged, heavy flatness after a long day of drinking and still feeling depleted. That is not your imagination. That is extracellular flooding with intracellular drought, and trace minerals are the bridge between those 2 states. The practical shift is not complicated. Trace mineral drops, sourced from inland geological deposits, added to your morning water in small, precise amounts. The electrical gradient shifts, the aquaporins respond. The wave completes the journey into the cell. And when that happens, when genuine intracellular hydration occurs for the first time in years, the shift in energy, clarity, and physical resilience is not subtle. People describe it as feeling awake for the first time, a machine finally running on the right fuel. If this is landing for you, this is the moment to subscribe to VitaWave.
What we build here goes several layers deeper than mainstream health content. And the next piece, biological timing, is where everything we have covered so far actually activates inside your daily life. Biological timing and flow. Everything we have covered, water quality, mineral conductors, aquaporin biology, means nothing if the timing is wrong. Because your body is not a static machine, it is a rhythmic, cycling system with precise windows where cellular absorption is dramatically more efficient than at other points in the day. Your circadian rhythm, the 24-hour biological clock governing virtually every function in your body, also governs your hydration receptivity. In the first 90 minutes after waking, cortisol peaks naturally, your metabolism accelerates, and your cells are in their highest state of osmotic receptivity. They are primed, ready, waiting. This is your golden window, and most people waste it entirely by reaching immediately for coffee, a diuretic, before giving their cells a single drop of quality water. The morning hydration wave sets the intracellular pressure baseline for the entire day. Miss it, and you spend the next 12 hours trying to catch up against a biology that has already shifted into conservation mode. That mid-afternoon crash most people blame on carbohydrates or poor sleep, in a significant percentage of cases it is acute intracellular dehydration caused by a missed morning window, not fatigue, a drought. Now, and this one will challenge you, stop drinking large amounts of water during meals. I understand this contradicts nearly everything you have been told, but the mechanism is clear. Your stomach requires concentrated hydrochloric acid to break down food, activate digestive enzymes, and begin nutrient transport into the bloodstream. When you flood it with water during a meal, you dilute that acid, slow digestion, and, critically, disrupt the tight mineral environment your gut needs to absorb the trace minerals that conduct the hydration wave. You are undermining the very system responsible for the process we just spent 15 minutes building. Finish your meaningful hydration 20 to 30 minutes before a meal. After eating, wait 60 to 90 minutes to return to your water rhythm. Your digestion will improve, your mineral absorption will improve, and the wave will complete the journey it was designed to make. The final piece, and the one that brings the entire system together, is the protocol. This is where everything becomes something you can actually use starting tomorrow morning. The Cellular Revival Blueprint. 4 steps, 1 complete system. Begin tomorrow and your body gives you feedback within days, not weeks. Step 1. Restructure your morning water. The first thing that enters your body each morning should be 400 to 500 milliliters of filtered water with trace minerals dropped back in. If you have access to quality spring water, use it. Add a small squeeze of lemon, not for the alkalinity myths you have heard, but because the citric acid activates salivary enzymes that begin signaling the gut to prepare for mineral absorption. Do this before your phone, before your coffee, before anything else competes for your biology's highest receptivity window of the entire day. Step 2. Move the water with light and physical rhythm. Within 30 minutes of waking, take a 10-minute walk outside. Morning light exposure resets your hypothalamic clock, and the rhythmic physical compression of walking creates what biophysicists call a piezoelectric effect in your connective tissues, an electrical charge generated by the compression and release of fascia that literally restructures the water molecules already in your body, giving them the kinetic momentum needed to complete the cellular absorption cycle. You become the vortex. You animate the wave from the inside. Step 3. Cycle your water temperature across the day. Warm water in the mid-morning supports lymphatic flow and digestive enzyme activity. Cool water in the afternoon supports cellular membrane density and osmotic pressure. Your body evolved handling continuous temperature variation. Modern hydration habits have made us biologically monotone, and that monotony flattens the signaling your cells use to regulate fluid intake. Vary the temperature, vary the signal, let the cells respond. Step 4. Protect the evening window. In the 2 hours before sleep, significantly reduce your water intake. Your kidney's filtration rate naturally drops in the evening as part of circadian physiology, meaning fluid consumed late is more likely to generate a low-grade physiological stress response as your body manages an unexpected fluid load. This disrupts the deep sleep stages where 70% of your cellular repair actually occurs. Cellular hydration and cellular repair are not separate systems. They are partners inside the same biological rhythm. Protect both. 4 steps, 1 rhythm. And what you will notice, what patients, athletes, and executives I work with notice every single time, is not a gradual improvement you have to track in a journal. It is a felt shift, clarity that arrives without caffeine, energy that holds across the afternoon, skin that begins to reflect what is happening at the cellular level, a body that finally feels like it is running on the fuel it was designed for. That's what riding the hydration wave actually feels like. Here's what I want you to carry from this conversation. You were not failing at hydration because you lacked discipline. You were following an incomplete map, a map that measured volume and ignored biology, that counted glasses and ignored gates, that told you to drink more without ever asking whether the water was actually getting in. Now you have a different map. You understand the wave, you understand the gate.
You understand the mineral conductor, the timing windows, and the morning rhythm that sets everything in motion. That understanding alone puts you ahead of the vast majority of people, including many inside the health and wellness space, who are still operating from a framework built in 1945. Starting tomorrow morning, before your phone and before your coffee, 400 milliliters of mineral-enriched water. That is your first move. One decision, one new rhythm. That is how the shift begins. Drop one word in the comments right now. What does your morning hydration routine actually look like? Coffee? Nothing. Water? Chaos. One word. I read every single one, and your answers shape exactly what we build next on this channel. Share this with one person in your life who is doing everything right and still feeling depleted. They do not need more willpower. They need a new map. And if you are ready to go deeper, the next video covers the mineral map. Which specific trace minerals, in what ratios, built around your lifestyle profile, generate the most powerful intracellular charge gradient. It will permanently change how you approach supplementation. Subscribe to VitaWave because your cells are not waiting. Health is not a destination. It is a rhythm you learn to ride. See you in the next wave.